All right, we're back, and we are live from Los Angeles today on Trunk Nation. And I am super happy to have these two gentlemen sitting across from me. Both are good friends, brilliant guitar players, and long overdue tour that they are going to. I say long overdue because I think something like this should happen a long time ago. I think it's a perfect match. Richie Kotzen, John Five going out on tour together. And they are both here sitting in front of me. J5, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you as well. Thanks for having me.
You walked in looking extraordinarily tall, but those are some serious boots you have going on
That's
there.
right. That's right.
Did you get those in the Motley Crue wardrobe case?
No, actually, the warden, my wife, got me these, and because I hate like shoes with the back, so I just want to slip my foot in and just cruise, just go. So
those don't scream slip your foot in and be comomfortable and just go.
But they are. Look. You just like take them off and.
We're rolling video, so let's see.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So you just slip your weird foot in there.
That's cool. So it's like a sandal, but it's way tripped out.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, see?
Rita knows what she's doing.
She knows what she's doing. She got herself a pair, too, but we can't wear them together.
I'd look really ridiculous with those because I'm already 6'2", so
yeah,
I'd look
you'd be like
giant.
7'1" or something.
I like them, though. I'm going to wear them to the Motley show when I come next week.
Okay, good.
Richie Kotzen's here.
Hello.
See you, buddy.
Thank you for
Let's
having
see your
me.
shoes.
What are you wearing, Richie?
I'm wearing slippers, but they are ostrich.
Oh, that's very
Are those
nice.
really
See?
slippers?
Yeah, well, they're like a dress shoe slippers.
Those are
I bought them
gorgeous.
in Mexico, and I'm kind of wearing a James Pierce tracksuit.
I don't know what that is. Is that
it's
all
fine.
designer shit?
Wow,
That's
we're
rockstar
sharing
rich
what
shit.
we're wearing,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I like your necklace, by the way.
Thank you. And Eddie, what shoes are you wearing?
These would be phenomenally comfortable Hoka walking running shoe, if you will.
They're really
Note
nice.
the support.
I do. I note.
And look at the color, a little off-white.
A little off-white.
Kind of like, you know what's weird? Not to go down a whole shoe thing or design thing, because I'm the least fashionable person in the world. You know, like the thing with like people now wearing suits with shoes like this? You see that like on TV and the football games and stuff, all the athletes?
That's the vibe, yeah.
It's a vibe, right?
That's the thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was ahead of the curve.
You were. You're.
It's a cool look.
Yeah.
It's funny you're talking about this. It reminds me of my bass player, Dylan Wilson. Every now and then, he says, "Oh, I like that jacket," and I have a habit of saying, "Who made it?" So that's become like a running joke. And then my band teases me, for knowing this useless information.
No, that's good.
We're kind of doing it now, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you knew the name of the people who made the jacket you're wearing.
I'm usually aware of who makes my clothing. For some reason, I don't know why.
Rita gave his wife gave John advice on the shoes.
Yeah.
Does Julia get involved in your wardrobe, Richie?
It usually turns into an argument because I don't really care for advice.
Throughout your whole career.
Exactly. Yeah,
Since day one.
That's where I am, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing. But that's right. I listen to everyone's advice and take none of it, and that's been my motto my whole life. So
I remember when I first met you, I said something about you didn't have a manager or anything, and you're just like, "Yeah, no, I don't listen to anybody."
I mean, I'm just not interested. I don't.
Do your own thing.
It is what it is.
True artist. He does whatever he wants to do.
We'll see.
Rita was like, "Yeah, they're Balenciaga and all this stuff, and they're really nice." And I'm like, and then someone asked me about the shoes, and I'm like, "Yeah, they're Balenciaga." And she's like, no, they're not. They're Balenciaga. And I was like, whatever.
Well, you're in. Well, obviously, this all worked out because John, the Motley residency started on the weekend, and we're going to get into that. But the reason why John can be here in L.A. right now is because you had 3 days off.
That's right.
So I texted you. I'm like, hey, are you staying in Vegas? You're like, I'm coming to L.A. I'm like, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So that worked out. But, and I live in Vegas part-time, and when I go through these high-end casinos,
Right.
and I see all these designer fashion places, and I can't even pronounce the names.
Yeah.
And then you go in there, and there's like a T-shirt like $750 or something.
Right.
There's this one place called Chrome Hearts.
Oh, yeah.
You heard of that?
Yeah.
Where you have to have like an appointment or something to just walk around in there.
Absolutely. But when you walk around, they're like, wait, there's Eddie Trunk. He started wearing the tennis shoes with the suits before anyone.
There you go.
You think they'll flip me some free stuff?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't they?
Come on, I'm a fashion.
Of course, you're a fashion guru.
Fashion guru, exactly. So, John, so much, what's the right word for? Anticipation mixed with apprehension, I think, about Motley because the shows were postponed once already.
Correct.
At the time, undisclosed issues with Vince.
Correct.
Now those issues disclosed. Vince did an interview and talked about that he had had a stroke.
Right.
So everybody's on edge, worried about what's going to happen with Motley in Vegas. And you know what? And I'm not just saying this because you're a friend. Unanimously, everyone talking about how great it was and how great Vince did. So before you comment on that, what was the vibe like for you guys leading into the show? Was there apprehension, or did you know all the while it was going to be fine?
Well, when we didn't really know, but when we got into rehearsal, we were like, oh, like he's moving good. And then he started singing. We were like, oh my God, he's singing great, actually. So I don't know what happened, but he is, I mean, I've been in the band for 3 years now, and he's singing so well. I'm like, wow, this is incredible.
He looks good too.
And he looks great. Yeah. And I just go into his room all the time and tell him how proud I am of him, because like in the interview, he said, yeah, you learn how to walk again and all that stuff. I mean, that's serious stuff. Yeah. So maybe he was just like, oh, okay. And then just everything clicked, and he is just, he's killing it. And there's no tracks or anything like that. He's just singing great.
Richie, you heard about this, right? Vince Neil had a stroke. Are you just hearing about it now?
I heard something to that effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Motley had canceled shows, but didn't say why. Just that there was a health issue, and then they bumped this residency, and then it finally started last Friday, and everyone was like, is Vince going to be able to pull this off? Are they be able to do it? So it's what's really what's great. You know how it was successful. Because no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because if he shit the bed, it would be everywhere. It would be everywhere. That was like, oh my God, Vin, But everyone's just like, oh yeah, Motley played. It was good.
Yeah. When I heard Home Sweet Home, I was like, holy shit, this is really, really great. So I'm just so proud of him. And like the guys in the band were like, this is like some of the best shows we've ever done. So we're super, super excited, and we're going to be there Wednesday. And
I hit him up. I told him, I said, because he always comes on the air with me. We've done a lot. I said to him, if you're feeling up for it while you're there, you should do it. So I don't know if he will. We'll do it from Vegas next week if he can do it, but I'm waiting to hear. But I'm happy for him. I've always pulled for him.
Yeah,
I really have. He's always been good to me, and I've always pulled for him. So I'm glad it went well for him and for you guys. Yeah. And overall, how'd you feel about the show? I mean, you sent me, I saw some stuff on YouTube. I mean, everyone said the production is awesome. You kind of start like it's like you're playing in a club or something, right? And then it builds out as the band gets bigger and you go through the catalog?
Exactly. And it is just, it's so much fun. We're all having a blast, but the one thing is me and Nikki go up on these lifts, like in, a Live 2 or something like that. But the lifts they're small. They're not big at all. They're like this little bit larger than a seat cushion or something like that on a couch. Then you have this metal thing that comes around kind of like this, and it goes just like this.
Just like a Live 2.
Just like a Live 2.
Yeah. Because everything is Kiss reference to me and John. That's our point of all conversation.
So I get on this lift, and so what I do is I wrap my arm around the little metal part and play guitar like this, because you're so high up. But most of the time they strap you in, but we're not strapped in. We just are holding on to this bar. So we're playing Kickstart My Heart, and I'm like, oh, okay, everything's going really good, Then the confetti goes boom, and all this confetti. I can't see a thing. I'm like Kiss Alive 2 in the inner sleeve.
Of course.
It's just raining confetti. I'm like, okay, just balance. Look, try to figure out what you're playing.
How high up are you?
I don't know, like probably 3,000 feet.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
Come on. How high, really?
I don't know. High, very high. Like if I
I
fell,
mean,
I'd
more
probably
than 10,
die.
more
I
than
saw
5
that on
feet.
your Instagram, and I was
no, I was-
disturbed. Well, on his Instagram, he posted it the other day.
No, I'm way up
It's
there.
really high. I mean, it's. However, the height is between the floor and the roof of the venue.
Yeah.
You're closer to the roof than the floor.
Oh,
right?
Major.
It's
major.
too high.
So it's a cherry picker, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rad. But then all the confetti came, and I was like, I didn't know that was
But
coming.
you better have a safety strap on there. They didn't hook anything on the back of you?
No, there's no time.
No time.
No, so I'm just holding onto the thing like this.
That's dangerous.
You should have them make time, John.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all in
Good
the
thing
of rock
Nikki
and
doesn't
roll.
get high anymore. Imagine that.
Right.
One show and done. And where'd 6 go? He fell.
Yeah.
Richie, have you ever been in any band that did theatrics or did anything like that?
No. No, I don't like heights.
Me neither.
Yeah. I never did. But I saw the video on your Instagram. I think I made a private comment to you. And I was like, oh, no way. Simply no. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
That because I don't like heights.
Me
But
neither.
it's really cool. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see. How long are you doing the residency?
Until October 3rd, which is Tommy's birthday. So that's the last show.
Maybe Julia and I can come out and
Anytime,
see it. Yeah,
please.
I really would love. I love the band, and I'd love to see that.
Please,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, let me know. If you need a place,
Oh, that makes it even
always
more
welcome
enticing.
to stay. But
Free room and board.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't say free, but
I was talking about an Airbnb situation.
Yeah.
Lots and money, but I don't know, maybe one night free. You know, then there's a resort fee and then taxes and parking. Yeah, exactly. But when you were in Poison, Richie, you didn't. At that point, you guys weren't doing was there confetti or any of that stuff going on then?
I don't remember too much. It was an arena tour for 3 months. We went out and did shows, but I don't remember. There was never I never got up on a lift, or neither did Brett or anybody. But that's pretty incredible.
yeah, it's pretty. I don't know how they did it in those platforms.
What kissed it?
Forget it.
What Kiss would do if you really looked, because I used to like a lunatic stare at everything Kiss and analyze it. If you look, they had like a railing that went like this.
Yeah, like
that was
kinda like a
an
cage.
S, almost like an S shape.
Yeah.
And they would put one leg, it would come up between their legs, so at least it was kind of a brace.
Yeah.
And now if you look, when they were doing it in more recent years, somebody does stick a hook strap on them.
Yeah.
So if you fall, you would just kind of dangle, but at least not hit
Am
the
I
ground.
imagining this? Or isn't there a clip somewhere of one of those guys up in the air and the thing went sideways and they're kind of struggling? I'm pretty sure there's a clip.
I don't know. I know that Gene got stuck up in the
that's what I'm
lighting
thinking
rig
of.
one time.
And
Yeah.
John has that rig in his Kiss museum.
Yeah.
I have that rig,
Labeled,
so-
this
You
is
do
the
for real?
rig where
No.
Gene almost
Oh, my God.
if it exists, he'd have it.
Yeah.
How is the Kiss Museum, John?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. What are the new additions? You're familiar with acetates, right?
Yeah.
So I got some very, very, very early 74 acetates from the first record for like Deuce, and I got a test pressing of the first record, their Kiss debut first record. And I asked Peter about it, and I go, what do you remember about it? And he goes, man, I remember we were so excited to go into Bell Sound Studio, a real studio, and we're going in, and we were just there so early, we didn't know what to do, and we just sat in McDonald's and ate and stuff, and, they just played everything, and boom, there you go, that was the record, and then they get this test pressing to take home and listen to. So to see how it sounds, so I got one of those, so it's pretty cool.
I still have to get to the museum. Are you still doing the tours? Is it still open?
No, it was only 1 month last year, but but Eddie,
You'll open it for me?
I'll
Give me a discount ticket.
free room and board.
Richie, what have you been up to, man? I mean, we're going to talk about this tour you're doing together, but you've been working on music. What's been going on with you?
No, I really haven't.
Consummate musician.
Yeah,
No, I haven't. I haven't seen the need for it, and I haven't had the desire to do it. But I'm very much looking forward to playing and getting out on the road for a while. I did go to Japan and perform. We did 3 shows, and that was great. That was fun. But I've really not been musically active really much at all. Not to say that I won't again, but I've been kind of enjoying, just chilling and enjoying nature and the house, the dog, the wife, all that sort of thing.
Well, you for people that don't know, Richie is also Mr. Handyman, where he can like build shit and fix shit, all these things I can't do. So if you built a house or built an addition, or
I actually
got a roof,
did do something
I knew it.
significant. So where I live, we when the winds blow at a certain velocity, they turn off the electricity because of the risk for fire. And so we're left without power for, a couple of days, and then they'll bring it back. And so I installed a generator transfer switch, and I had a concept for what I wanted to do. And I had these contractors coming and going, and it was a lot of resistance. Guys would show up, then they wouldn't call back, and then I'd get a price, and it was really out of the realm of what it should cost. So I did it myself. And I built a hybrid system that...
you built a generator yourself?
Well, I didn't build the generator, but I put it together and I wired it, which the big problem is the labor in wiring it. And it is complex, and you do have to do it correctly. And if you don't, you could have some serious problems. So I put in a 10 circuit transfer switch. That ties into all the boxes. And we've got 4 boxes. So you have to figure out basically, okay, what circuit do I want to work in the event of a blackout? So obviously you pick the refrigerator, you pick some outlets that you might use to charge some phones, you pick some lights. So I picked 8 out of 10, and so I rewired them. And then I got a battery backup system. And so the way this works is that when the power goes out, I go into the basement and I flip a few switches, turn on the battery backup, and that'll feed, and I have enough battery to feed me for what I'm going to use for maybe a day. And when the batteries, if they keep the electricity off too long, when the battery drops to a certain point, I have a gas-powered generator. And when I turn that on, this is the cool part, that thing will recharge the battery. I only have to run that for a couple of hours, and I'm back to where I want to be. I could turn it off. So you might say, well, why don't you use the gas generator? Well, the reason is you'd have to have, and that sounds like a Harley Davidson running outside, so you'd have to have it running the whole time. So this way, you get quiet, clean power, and then if they keep it off for too long, turn on the generator, feed it back up, and you're good. So I tested it. It works, and, happy trails.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm doing.
So if
That's amazing.
If the Agora Hills area
I showed you when you were at my house.
down,
remember?
Kotzen miswired something.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I don't make those kind of mistakes, man.
I don't know how you know how to do this shit. Every time I talk to him, he'll be like, I went to his house. Yeah, I built that. It's like, how do you? I can't put a light bulb in.
I can't even change the batteries in a remote. I put them upside down.
Yeah. You said something to me I'll never forget about around the time of COVID, too, when everyone was locked down, right?
Yeah.
And I talked to Richie on the phone.
What was I doing? I was locked down, too.
Yeah, but you were doing all stuff around the house, and I was like, do you miss touring? Do you miss doing no, I really don't. At all. And I go, well, are you going to go out? Or he goes, I got to book some shows because if I don't have some shows to do, I might not want to ever do shows again. Like you were like,
did I say that?
Yeah, you were like, I need to get out on the road to keep doing it because I might really be very comfortable just being in COVID.
Remember
mode.
who the fuck I am.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you said.
Yeah,
it was like to that point. So you're like, you have a lot of other interests that even though you could be this mad professor making all your own records and playing everything yourself, you can also do this other shit around the house, which I couldn't dream
I grew
of
up in that kind of environment. My dad is a creative guy, but he's also the kind of guy that knows about all that sort of stuff and remodeling and that sort of thing. So it's like growing up. If my mother was a tennis player, I'd probably be pretty good at tennis and have a good understanding of it. It's just your environment that you grow up in. So
my dad was super handy, but I don't know how to do shit, John.
I don't know how to
do
anything.
John grew up a rich kid, so he had people.
I had maids. I was like, hey, something's wrong with my bike.
exactly.
It's not going to fix itself.
John had a bike mechanic.
I did.
I love it.
The Grosse Pointe bike mechanic.
Yeah. That was, but oh my God, our housekeepers, they hated me because I would sleep in and they would like vacuum in there and like they just did not like me at all.
Oh man,
But
that's awesome.
I was like, there's some dog shit on the stairs and it's not getting any fresher.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he grew up in a wealthy family.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah,
what part?
Grosse Pointe,
Illinois?
Michigan.
Or Michigan.
Yeah.
That's right. Awesome.
Where'd the money come from in your family? Your dad? You inherited or what?
I don't know.
But then you just packed up and left, right?
I did. I packed up and left.
Did you get any money at the door? Did they give you a little stipend?
You know, I never got anything. They would give me like a couple $100 here, but I started working right away. So I kind of wanted to.
When you got to LA?
Yeah.
Doing what?
Session work.
Oh, okay.
Just because I did it for so cheap, and they were like, "Oh, there's this kid that'll do the session for like half of what we're charging."
So
everyone.
you undercut everybody.
So I was working.
They must have loved you in LA.
I was working every day. Every day I was working. Yeah.
What was the first session? Was it anything that became anything?
It was John Wetton.
Oh, the guy from Asia.
Yeah, UK.
Yeah.
I did that, and then I did a Berlin song like Terry Nunn, and then
Really?
Robin Zander. I did a Robin Zander like something. So yeah, I was doing all sorts of great Wilson Phillips and Rick Springfield.
Richie, when you came from Pennsylvania and made the move here,
Yeah.
did you get into session work?
No, I had a recording contract with Interscope. That's how I ended up here. And Jimmy Iovine and Tom Wiley signed me, and Jimmy was running the company, and it was a Ted Field venture. And back then it was between Atlantic. Jason Flom was looking at me, and then it was Tom, and I had already put out my second record, Fever Dream. So that was the record.
So you were with Varney, Shrapnel.
Yeah,
first.
so I was going back and forth from San Francisco, and I wanted to live in San Francisco. I had a lot of friends up there, and I made my first 2 records there, and that's where I wanted to go. And I would have went there anyway, but they bought my contract, and so they said, "No, we need you in L.A." And but when I showcased. I remember, this is something I remember vividly. I showcased at what was called the Central, which later became the Viper Room, and I could picture Jason sitting, off to the right.
Jason Flom's the legendary A&R guy for those that don't know.
And he was with Kevin Williamson, who I still talk to once in a while, and then he was off on the left side was Tom and Jimmy, and my manager said, "No, you got to go with Interscope because they're the new hot company." So I signed with Interscope, and they moved me out here. They kept me here for a year, and we had everything ready to go. I was going to go in the studio. Danny Korchmar was going to produce the album. I wanted to self-produce, of course, and they wouldn't let me. So I said, "Well, Danny, he did End of the Innocence with Don Henley," and that's kind of where my palette was, what I was going to. I wasn't going to hard rock. I was in this other mode. And so Danny and I picked out songs, and he said, "I'm going to write 5 with you, and we'll round out this album." They put a budget in and everything. And almost a year had gone. And at the last minute, Tom called and said, "Hey, man, I didn't sign you to be a balladeer. I expected you to make a hard rock record." And I'm like, "Well," I said, "that's cool and everything, but I'm not writing hard rock songs, and I'm not feeling that direction, and this is what I want to do." And it was kind of this kind of blue-eyed soul, with a touch of rock. Of course, I played the guitar. And so it was weird. I said, "Listen," I said, "let's make a deal." I said, "You come see me play. I got a gig booked, and you come to the gig. If you don't get it, drop me. And if you get it, then hopefully we can make the record." He came to the gig. "I don't get it." He said, and I didn't care. I was like, fuck it. I was barely 21 years old, and I was like, "I'll just get another deal." That was my attitude. And so I really didn't care. And so he said, "I don't really get it." He said, "I think you're moving in the wrong direction. I'm going to drop you. I'm going to let you out of your contract. But," and this is the kicker, "but Bret Michaels has been calling me. Saw you on the cover of Guitar World and in a couple magazines." And I said, "Oh, come on, man." I said, "They're really sending me in a and down the wrong road. I don't want to do that. And he goes, no, go talk to him.
Right, you didn't want to make your own hard rock record, but they want to go put you in Poison.
All that.
Right.
So I'm like, well, I'm going to at least meet the guy. And so I drove out to Calabasas because I was living here by then. And I went to his house and we sat down. And I remember that vividly. And he started talking to me about like the Allman Brothers and some soul music. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then he started talking about like how, he said, we're not looking for a guy to come in and just play parts. We want someone to write an album. You got any songs? Tom tells me you're a songwriter, And Tom had worked with Poison actually when he was at Capitol. So I said, yeah, I got songs. And I played him Stand. And I played him a part of what became the song Fire and Ice. And he said, all right, I like this. So we actually got together. And I won't want to monopolize this, but there's one funny part. First time I go to play with these guys, I had these 2 vintage Marshalls that I actually still have to this day. And I plug them in. Smoke starts coming out of one of them. I'm like, oh, the amp isn't working. Plug the other one in, get a sound, start playing, and I realized, shit, I don't know how to play their songs. I listened to the songs, and I was pretty cocky at 21 years old. And I think, okay, I can hear what's going on. I don't need to sit down with a guitar.
I got it.
Yeah, it's all that, yeah. I got this. So I go in there, I'm like, oh, fuck, there's a bridge. Start, stop. And then I'm like, well, show the guys the songs that you wrote. So I did some, play a song I wrote, did something on the piano. And then so we messed around for about a week, and they take me out in a lounge, and Brett says, listen, he goes, we put a lot of time in here this last week, and I just want to let you know. And I'm anticipating they're going to say, hey, get out of here. We don't want you. And I interrupt him. I say, hey, listen, man, if I'm not the right guy, I wasn't expecting to get the gig. I start talking. He said, no, this is quiet. He said, listen to me. He said, how do you feel about headlining arenas and making $1 million? That was his quote. And I'm like, huh? And then the other one's, no, you're in the band, you got the gig.
Oh, that's great.
So that's how it happened. That's how I ended up in Poison.
That's awesome.
And then we made a great record. I love the record.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a great record.
I remember hearing Stand for the first time and seeing the video, and of course I knew the band from day one. But I'm hearing this, I'm like, whoa, this is a whole different trip here. They got a different guy in here,
Yeah,
and then
great.
it was just, there was like a gospel chorus and all that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is crazy. It's such
Really
a great
cool.
song. But you never did have you, in your career, have you done a lot of session work, like on other people's records?
You know what I did? I produced a song for Melissa Manchester. Don't you have a connection to her?
I think so.
Yeah.
John has a connection. You name
I know.
John has a connection to everybody. He either wrote or produced something for everybody.
Right.
You name the act, you're like, what?
The truth is my journey into business has always been really connected to being in an environment where I'm writing with someone. Like, the Stanley Clark thing, I was in there, we wrote together. Obviously, Winery Dogs and Poison and Mr. B. So I was always kind of involved in a writing scenario. I don't really recall doing sessions per se, outside from when Kulick, Bob Kulick,
Yeah.
when he was alive, he would do these tribute records, and he'd call me and say, hey, I'll give you X number of dollars to come over and do a solo. And back to us, it's like, I'll do it. So if you go deep looking, you'll see me on that. But I was never really a session guy. I was kind of doing my own sort of thing.
John, do you have a ballpark idea on how many sessions you've done in your career?
Today?
To date.
No.
Today, yeah, it just came from 5.
No, I have no idea. It's everybody from like Ricky Martin, just like
Wow, really?
everybody.
Are you on like Living the Vida Loca? Or
No,
whatever?
no. He did a record that Desmond Child produced, and I'm on that.
Desmond did that though.
Yeah. No, I didn't do that song though.
Did you tell me you wrote a song with Rod Stewart too?
Yeah.
What song is that?
It's Over. It's called It's Over, and it was a big hit, so on one of his records just a few years ago. And then there were some other weird ones. I got called to do this Salt and Pepper thing.
Wow.
So I
Are
did
you on that one? Push It, that one?
Well, I was on the Tonight Show, so they were like, we're going to do this medley of these songs, all their hits and all that stuff. So I go over there and, I'm like, okay. And I get the sheet music and I'm like looking it all over and I'm like, okay. And they're like, okay. And Jay Leno's like, all right, now Salt and Pepper. And like, I go crazy.
Wait, so you're in the video? You can see yourself playing with Salt and Pepper?
Yeah. and I go crazy like it's Slayer or something.
Head banging.
I'm like banging my head and all that stuff, and they were like, I was just having so much fun. I just loved it. But it was just a lot of weird stuff like that. But I love doing that stuff.
Katie Lang, right?
Yeah, a lot.
That's
Yeah,
cool. Katie
yeah,
Lang.
a lot of Scorpions. And all
Skinnerd.
that stuff. Skinnerd, yeah.
Holy hell, what a resume.
Yeah,
Really
it's
impressive.
You get royalties on all that stuff?
Yeah, I get.
So you get nice mailbox money, right?
Yeah.
It's good to be Johnny Five out there.
Got to buy these shoes,
Yeah,
right?
exactly, and that fancy necklace you got
I got to
there.
keep the warden happy.
Exactly. I get it. All right. So, one other thing before I want to talk more about this tour, but I got to ask you, Richie, a story. So we had Richie and I don't know, maybe John, you as well, a mutual friend, Tom Morello. Tom was here with me not long ago. So Tom has these gatherings every couple months with Dan Weiss, who worked on Game of Thrones, and Nuno usually does it, and they put out an email to people to come, and there's this meeting, this rock Illuminati, right, where everybody meets, and they do it at the Rainbow usually, sometimes, and get together, and we just all get together like all friends, and we just talk rock nerd stuff, right? If you're not on the email list,
I am.
Are you on?
Yeah,
but you've never come.
No, I'm usually out on the road.
Oh, okay. So you got to be there too. But anyway, so I couldn't make the last one, which was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they're all texting me, and all my friends, they're like, Tom's like, I can't believe you're not here. We need you to ask you about who the fifth guitar player in Rough Cut was, or whatever nonsense,
yeah.
right? But so this one, I was told, because I get a report after the meeting.
Really? They
from
give
the-
you a report? No,
But my friends would be like, "You weren't there. You missed this and that." So I was told you were there, Richie.
I was there. It's
But
true.
somebody, I don't know if it was Brent Woods or somebody told me that you, or maybe it was Morello actually, because I talked to Tom afterwards, that you had, because it was very Ozzy-centric, because Ozzy
I
had
know
just
where you're
died.
going with this.
That they said you had some unbelievable Ozzy audition or playing story.
I got a really good story.
Which I've known you forever, and I did not know this. So can you share this on the air?
Yeah. So in 1995, I was, again, I got signed to Geffen in 94. That went south, much like Interscope. I was getting dropped, and I was in a transition period of figuring out where to go. At one point, I thought RCA was going to pick up the record, and I screwed up that scenario, which is a whole other story. But my manager, Larry Mazer, calls and said, listen, he said, I got you the Ozzy gig. That's what he said. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, I got you the gig in Ozzy. Now, I didn't tell this at the story, at the Tom Morello thing, but again, like I was back on the Interscope days, I didn't respond to it like the way you would expect. I was like, man, I don't want to go in that direction. I don't want to play metal. I don't want to play hard rock. That's not what I'm writing. That's not where my head's at. And he goes, listen, again, he said, the deal's done. He said, all they got to do is meet you. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, you got to go to New York on this day, such and such, blah, blah, blah. So I flew to New York, and I was in the they stayed at the specific hotel. I forgot the name, but I'm sitting in the lounge with Sharon face to face, and she's like, "Right, we're very excited about having you on." And she's talking to me about the salary. She told me what they were going to pay me, and they were talking about this and that. Zach was off doing Pride and Glory. And so they were looking for a guitar player, and apparently they had been working with Steve Vai, and that didn't go the way. They still needed a guitar player. So I go to Ozzy's room to meet him, and it was the first time I'm meeting him, and he had a suite, and we ended up watching the movie Dumb and Dumber together. I have this story very twisted right now because I wasn't expected to tell it, but there's a funny moment because Ozzy's a prankster, and he's smacking his arm like this. And he's got like what looks like a syringe on the coffee table. And I'm not really focused on it. I'm 25 years old at that time, in my own little fucking world. And he's doing this thing. Now, he's trying to channel that he's about to shoot up. And it's not registering. Now, the thing is for an abscess, for a tooth. He had a tooth taken out, like a wisdom tooth or something. So, you shoot medicine or water back there because, to clean it out.
Right.
So finally he says, right, here I am. I'm not going to do his voice, but he does this thing where, he's getting aggravated that I'm not reacting to the fact that he's going to shoot heroin, but he's not. But I don't even realize it. So
he's fucking with you. He wants to see what's going to happen.
He wants to see how I'm going to react. And the fact that I don't react really kind of wigged him out. It's like, he couldn't understand, why are you not reacting to what I'm doing? And in a weird way, I just wasn't seeing it because I was just in this mode of, it's Ozzy.
Yeah.
He's a legend. And so I leave there thinking that I'm in his band. And they said, all you got to do is send us some song ideas. So I ended up putting some riffs down on DAT, just the guitar, send them off. And I didn't hear anything. And Larry didn't hear anything, my manager. And all this time went by. And the gist of it, from what I understand, was Zach went back and actually made the album. And then what ended up happening is they got a guitar player that was an unknown. And they toured with him, and so I never played with him. I did go back at one point and play with him because I remember playing with the drummer was the guy that
Randy Castillo.
The guy that sings like Steve Perry.
Dean Castronova.
Yes, and Geezer. So we actually did play together. But it was just this weird, surreal kind of whirlwind of I'm going to be Ozzy's guitar player, and then it was crickets. And then I ran into them somewhere in L.A. at a breakfast brunch, and I walked over and it's, that's Richie the guitar. You're Richie the guitar player. Like he remembered me, but it just didn't connect somehow, and I never did anything with him. But I was right there, and we watched Dumb and Dumber. He had the movie cassette.
So do you think that because you showed no reaction, maybe he's this
guy
shoots heroin too, so he's just used to it?
Well, I know why, and I left this part out of the story when I was talking to Tom. But when I found this out, I told someone who will remain nameless, and I told them, "Hey, I think I'm going to be his guitar player. I'm convinced this is what happened." And so this person, back then it was AOL chat rooms, 95, 96. This person went in there and started talking. Richie Kotzen, former Poison guitar player, is going to play with Ozzy. And there were fan responses that were brutal. No way a guy from Poison can play with Ozzy.
Because that wasn't cool then.
Right.
Right.
And so and I remember reading this and oh my God, this is not working out so well here with the comments, And I'm really convinced that because of, the whatever pedigree or perception or whatever the word is, that someone probably over there saw, oh, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah. There's a massive backlash to that stuff. Then.
Right.
Yeah.
And that happened to me a second time.
And you just said, by the way, I used to be a Mr. Big, too.
I might as well tell this story, too. That happened to me with Trent Reznor. A lot of people don't know this story. I might as well tell you. At some point, Twiggy, I used to see him all the time, say, hey, we're having trouble finding a guitar player. Come down. So I played with them. And he said, he literally said this to me, by far, you're the best guitar player we had in here so far. I'm going to talk to management, and I think this could work out. I'll give you a call. I leave. Again, weeks went by. I run into Twiggy again. I said, what happened? And he goes, he said that he thought about it, and the last thing he wants to see in Rolling Stone is Nine Inch Nails hires former Poison guitar player. Yeah, so it's the second time that burned me. Now, here's the good news, and then I'll shut up. A couple of months later, I got the gig to open for the Rolling Stones, 5 shows in Japan with my solo thing. So in a weird way, it worked out. I got to do something pretty cool, for my resume.
It reminds me of people, because I've talked about it all the time, unless you lived that period, you have no idea how brutal the backlash was and the bias. It was awful. James Lomenzo told me a story, I think James told me, or somebody told me that, James Lomenzo is in Megadeth now. He was in Megadeth. This is his second time in Megadeth. But James Lomenzo was in White Lion. He was on all the classic White Lion records. And I remember, I think it was Mustaine or somebody said, if I would have known that was the same guy that was in White Lion, I would have never put him in the band. Right. Because it's the same thing.
It's a weird thing.
It's a weird thing.
That's the problem with rock and roll, that kind of, it's like a lot of people listen with their eyes, and it's a shame.
It's ridiculous.
It's really a strange thing. decisions are made over the aesthetic, and I think though, first of all, I would never change anything. I like the choices I made. I love my experience with Brett and the rest of the band, so I would not rewire any of that. First of all, and second of all, one door closes, the other one opens, and that's been something I noticed. But I was going somewhere with this, and I just lost my train of thought. I just think it's a shame that so much of these decisions are made. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I think there's less of that in today's time.
100%.
I think there's way less. I think
100%.
the 90s, that window from like 91 to 99, well, the 90s was rough, brutal,
100%.
as you say. And then I think now, I don't think anybody really gives a shit anymore.
I agree.
Yeah.
I still think I wouldn't say anybody, but I'd say I think people realize they look at things more objectively, and I always say like every era has its fashion, right? And that was the fashion. It's not an indictment on the quality of the musician, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I by the way, that guitar player that would have come in at that time, I believe, would have been Joe Holmes.
That's right. That's who it was.
Yeah, and Joe's a brilliant guitar player. I love his playing as well. Joe has great music out now under his own name, and he ended up doing like 3 years touring with Ozzy. Never did a record with him, but was the guitar player for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So, all right, we get yapping and time just flies here. So, the reason why these guys are both here together is not only because they're phenomenal guitar players, but because they are going on the road together. Whose idea was this to put you guys together? Where did this come from? Was this a agent thing? How well do you two know each other?
We know each other. I mean, I've known of you for decades and decades, but I think I brought it to either Rick or Dan to like put this tour
Booking
together.
agent.
I think we had the same idea at the same time without actually speaking to each other, because I remember we have the same agent.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to the booking agent saying, it would be really cool to do a package. And this is before you and I even spoke.
Yeah.
And then he said, well, and then he brought you up, and then you had already done something like that already.
Yeah, with Marty
Friedman. And so it's almost like the two light bulbs went off simultaneously. And, they said, how do you feel about this? I said, oh, that sounds like a good idea, and vice versa, I would imagine. And so that's how it kind of came together from how I saw it.
Now, John, you're going to do your regular Creature show?
Yes.
So you're going to have all the bells and whistles and all that stuff?
Too many notes, all that stuff. Yeah, it'll be a mess.
But the theatric stuff, too.
I don't think I'm going to have too much theatrics because we got to get on and off and do all that stuff. And we just, want to keep that. I'm just going to do a lot of new songs, and I'm going to look all crazy and all that stuff, for the fans. But there's not going to be like inflatables or anything like that.
Did you ever see the Creatures, Richie? You've ever seen
just like the YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, so and then you have a record coming, right?
Yeah, in October. It's called Ghost, and it's it's got everything.
A couple of tracks out now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and people are loving it. So
Joel, find something from that when we go into the next break or the end of the show.
You know what's cool is me and Joe Lalich were doing the art and stuff, and I said, what would be really cool is if we did it like double platinum. Everything comes back to Kiss.
Always comes back to Kiss.
So there's like the image of me and all this stuff, but it's all chrome. So it's black and chrome. So it looks really, really cool.
Remember the double platinum commercial when Neil Bogart comes out?
Yeah, the huge.
We'd like to celebrate the double platinum Kiss.
Yeah.
You should do a takeoff on that commercial.
That's right, yeah.
I'll come out as Neil Bogart.
Yeah, with the huge album. Remember
exactly.
the big album in the background?
Fold.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, it's bad with me and him. Me and him with Kiss is bad. That's
cool.
Very bad.
Yeah.
I love Kiss too.
Yeah, but I don't know if you could. You got to be like ultra geek for John.
I remember I used to dress like Gene, and my father made me a leather suit when I was a little kid.
See, John still does.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's just a Tuesday.
Okay, all right. Well, then you got me beat.
He's got a Kiss museum. I'm not kidding.
I know. I've been there.
Oh, you've seen the museum?
I've been to his house before.
Oh, insane. Well, I saw the original museum. Mm-hmm. Remember, I gave you a ride home when you were in Zombie.
Yeah.
And John made me get vegan Chinese food, which was the first and only time I ever did
Are you a
that.
vegan?
Yeah, but it's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, it was fine.
Yeah, see?
I remember John going to me, now you order anything you'd get at a Chinese restaurant, and it's going to taste exactly the same. What would you get? And I'm like, I don't know, orange chicken. Okay, just tell him you want the orange chicken. And he's coming. He's like, tastes exactly the same, right? I'm like, maybe a little bit.
Check, please.
But then I drove you to your house, and you had the museum in your house.
Yeah.
At that point, but now it's way bigger.
Right. Yeah. It's massive.
It's a whole nother
world. It's ridiculous.
So Richie, on this tour, so what John does is pretty much all instrumental. You're not going to do that, right? You're going to do your regular show.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How long are each of you guys going to play?
I don't know. What is it?
Like an hour each, something like that. Hour 5, hour 10 each, right?
Okay.
Like 3 hours each or something. I don't
2 hours of madness.
Yeah.
I think would be enough for people to handle.
Have you talked about the idea of a crossover thing with you doing a song together?
Not yet.
Not yet, but yeah, we got. When do we go on? We got some time, right?
Time.
So let's talk about the dates here, because we've got. I got the dates here in front of me. So this starts on October 10th in am I saying it right? El Cajon.
El Cajon.
Mm-hmm.
El Cajon. Then 2 shows then you go Riverside, Roseville, So it starts here in California.
Yeah.
San Jose, Phoenix, and then the dates run through November.
Yeah, it just keeps going and going and going until like right near Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So there's a few. Okay, so those are obviously that's a Thanksgiving break in there. Actually, it looks like you're playing just before Thanksgiving in Denver, and then you got a break.
And then I go to this place. God, I love this place.
Pioneer Town.
So it's
that?
called Poppy and Harriet's, and it's in Pioneer Town with this Joshua Tree. So it's this like cowboy bar. But Willie Nelson, Paul McCartney, Miley Cyrus, Slipknot, they've all played there. It's like the coolest place to play. So, it's called Poppy and Harriet's, and it's in Pioneer Town. And that's right at the end of the tour that I'm going to do that one. But you're not doing that one.
No, but now that I'm sitting here thinking about that, what
Yeah.
you just said, maybe I should go do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, this place is like, I was like, because I live out in Joshua Tree half of the time, and I'm like, oh, Paul McCartney's playing. Oh, Slipknot's going to be here. And it's like this really cool place.
Really? So
Yeah.
everybody goes there and does underplays?
Yeah.
So Pioneer Town is Joshua Tree? Is that,
Well,
or
it's
just the area?
Pioneer
Richie, get
Town.
up on
It's
the mic.
Pioneer Town, and then it's like Yucca, and then Joshua Tree. And so it's all kind of like close to each other.
I see.
It's really close to Joshua Tree, yeah.
It's a small place.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Maybe Foo Fighters will be playing there tomorrow.
You know what? I'm not
Because they're
joking.
doing that right now.
They
Foo Fighters
probably
are playing
have.
these little places. Like they just played a little place the other night.
In San Luis Obispo.
Yeah, now they're playing tonight at the Observatory.
Yeah, but they probably played there. Like everybody's played there. It's crazy.
Wow. All right. And I'm curious, from both of your perspectives, when did you discover when did you hear about each other as guitar players, and what were your thoughts? Because although the one similarity between the two of you, without a doubt, that I always think about is the Telecaster.
Yeah.
Because, John, you exclusively play Tellies.
Yeah.
Richie did for a long time, but now I see you playing Strats a lot. And I know you both have your own custom Telecaster designs. But where did you guys get on each other's radar as players? Do you remember?
I remember. It was in had to have been 99, and I was going to do a couple shows with an artist. I had a major label deal, and I was learning a couple of her songs, and I ended up not doing it because that's when there was the same moment that Stanley called. So I went.
Stanley Clark.
Yeah. So then I went and made a record with Stanley, and I left the project. But he had played guitar on it, and I asked her, because I'm listening to guitar play, I'm like, there's some complicated stuff here. I mean, and it's done really well. I said, who did that? Who played that? And then she said your name.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, man, that guy, he's a serious player. And then her and I might have done like one or two like radio one-offs. And then I said, hey, I got to go. I'm going to go play with one of my idols. But that's when I heard about you.
Yeah. And when I heard about Richie, I was shrapnel everything,
Oh, right.
It's all, I was just engulfed in that, and I just loved everything. And that's where I heard of you, and just like, and then I was like, wait a minute, that voice too? And then the singing, dude, and I was just shocked with the singing, and then the winery dogs, all this stuff. I was just like, loved it all.
Man, thank you.
Loved it all.
Well, that actually kind of ties in nicely with this, which is a record Richie just gave me. That's my favorite of the records he's made. I love a lot of them, but this is my favorite. It's called Into the Black, and this was done back in 2006. And this would have been when I met you, because there's a story. Because what happened was, Nancy Sale, who we all know, a publicist here in L.A., I was doing my radio show in New York, and she called me and she said to me, "Hey, we've got I'm doing publicity for Richie Kotzen," and she said, "Would you be interested in having him on your show, because we're trying to promote a new guitar pedal, and he's coming to New York." And all I knew about him was the shrapnel stuff. I just knew the Varney stuff and the shred shrapnel stuff. And I said, "Yeah." I said, I don't really know his stuff too well, but and I knew I liked the Poison record. I knew he's the Poison stuff. I said, "Yeah, sure, have him come." And at that time, do you remember who was there with us that night?
The guy from Triumph.
Yeah, Mike Levine from Triumph.
Oh, yeah.
Who was already booked, and Mike Piazza.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because there's a picture of all
But
of
he
us.
was part of your show back
Yeah,
then,
Mike
wasn't he?
was playing for the Mets at the time. He used to always sit in with me, big rock fan.
Cool.
And you guys bonded over the Pennsylvania thing, because they were both from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And then I remember I remember in the interview, I was talking to Richie a lot about guitar playing and the shrapnel and all that. And I don't know if you remember this, but when you left that night, you handed me a CD. And you said, "Here, check this out. This is what I'm doing now." And it was this record, Into the Black.
Okay.
And I said, "Okay, cool." So I put this on, expecting to hear, that sort of. And then I'm listening to it, and I hear this voice, and I'm like, and that's always been the thing that pulls me in immediately. He's a great singer. And I'm like, who's singing on this? And then I looked at the credits on the record, and all instruments, vocals produced by Richie Kotzen. I'm like, the fuck? And I called you, and I called him. I'm like, "You can, this is you singing? I didn't know you sang like this." And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, and I remember you telling me that all you wanted to do was play in New York. Remember this?
Yeah.
And because Richie wasn't getting gigs at the time, and I'm like, "I'm going to help you. I'm going to get this on the air." And remember, you did that BB King show.
Yeah, I know.
And his dad came, and his parents came. It was like this thing.
It was great.
I remember because the promoter of the show, because I used to do a lot of work with that venue, he was listening when I put this on the air. And he called me up. He said, "Look, I don't know if the guy will do any tickets." He said, "But put me in touch with him." He goes, "We'll do a $5 show. You get behind it. We'll see what happens." And then it just went from there. But I'll never. And this record, like I said, still is my favorite. Now, this just came out on vinyl, which I'm holding.
You are? Yeah.
Which is Into the Black is the name of the record. So this was never out before in this way, right?
No, on the last tour I did in Europe, we printed a few for the merch stand, but it was done very quickly and without very much supervision at all. And so this time we actually went back and found all the proper materials and put it together in the right way. So it's done as I wish, so to speak.
And most importantly, it has the very sexy. Just look at that. Yeah. Look at that.
And not much has changed since 2006, if I got to be honest. I mean,
you got a heavy filter on that photo, man. That's all?
That's a Japanese sunlight, man. That was in my hotel room.
That was in Japan, that photo?
That photo's in Japan. Yeah.
Tell this story real quick, though, because I love it so much, and the audience maybe didn't hear.
All right, this is great.
This is his story. So Richie has a band with Adrian Smith of Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
currently,
yeah, of course.
Smith Kotzen.
First of all, this photograph is this long.
Yeah.
So it's full-bodied of me laying on the bed. And so
it's a very come hither. For those that can't see it, it's a very modelly come hither.
Quite seductive, if I must say so myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got this part of the house where there's pictures. I mean, it's either I hang them or I throw them in the trash. Mm-hmm. So I got enough wall space where I'll hang these things. So the picture is about this big. It's about 4 foot by 2 or whatever it is.
The original photo.
Somebody blew it up into a high-quality print, framed it for me, and gave it to me. Okay? So it's hanging there. And it's whatever. I don't even think about it. So Adrian Smith and I, as you know, have a project together. We write and play and all that. So it's Christmas time, and Adrian has a home close to my house. And so he's on the way out the door after a long writing session. I say, hey, I got a present for you. All right, mate, really? I said, what is it? And I'm like, so I give him this thing. And he takes it, and I'm like, open it. I'll wait till I get home. No, open it now. I want to see what you think. So he's pulling it off, and he pulls it on the paper, and he holds it, and he has this look of like, right, mate, I see you tomorrow. And he goes to leave with it. And I'm just, no. I said, stop. I said, that's a joke. I said, what do you mean? I said, that's a joke. And he, oh, thank God. I didn't know what to say.
Oh, that's
Get this glamour shot. For people that don't have the visual, Richie's shirt is open down to his waist.
I did
Great.
before. I forgot one funny part. Before I ramped it up as he's looking at it. I said, I was at your house last week, and I noticed you got a lot of cool wall space. I thought maybe it's too much for the bedroom, but the fireplace. I was this and that.
And you have a project with him, so it's like he can't not put it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that story so much. All right, so let's let some of the audience call in and say hello to you guys. And everybody go to the either Richie's site or John's site. I'm assuming the specific dates are all there. There's a bunch of them. And is it a flip-flop? Is one person closing? Has that been determined yet?
I don't know what is going on yet. I don't
Rick,
even
do
know
we know
Rick.
Manager Rick? Oh, the whole thing could blow up right here, right now. There could be a dispute over this.
I thought that you were going to play and then I was going to play, but I don't really care how we do it.
I don't care at all.
Yeah. I think because of the vocals and the singing, I think that was the...
Yeah. I don't even know.
You'll find out when you get there.
Yeah.
Don't be late no matter what, because you don't want to miss either of them.
Yeah,
That's
but
the
there's
most
also an opening band as well.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Who is it? Or is it going to be
God,
local?
We're the worst. We are
You guys
the
are great
worst.
promoters, man. Rick, do you know? Your manager doesn't even know, John.
He's
Forget
terrible.
about it. Yeah.
Well, now I didn't realize who you were when you came in. I'm really a fool.
It's a legendary Rick Canny. What are you talking about?
Nice to meet you
Come on,
in
man.
person. Yeah.
Jeez.
And who's your football team?
He's a Cowboys fan.
Oh, you're Cowboys.
So we
I thought we could be friends, but now we can't.
No, I can't be friends with either of you. I got an Eagles fan. I got a Cowboys. I said, if John couldn't give a shit about sports, so he's neutral. But
I don't know.
all I need is a Commanders fan in here, and I'd really be cornered on every angle.
But yeah, we're doing this tour. It's going to be phenomenal. We're going everywhere that has electricity. Pretty much, we're getting everywhere. It's going to be great.
And if they don't have electricity, I'll find a way to do it.
Right.
Put the generator on.
We'll put the generator on. We're going to be
I'll
out
find a
there.
way to make it happen.
No, it's been going great, and tickets are going, really well, and meet and greets and all that stuff. It's been insane, actually. So we're super happy.
All right, and of course, like I said, John currently with the Motley residency, it's up, it's running, it's getting a good response, and Vince is doing great. We covered that when we first started. So if you happen to be in Vegas or coming to Vegas, look for John up there for his dear life up on that riser.
Yeah.
Holding on. I'm telling you, have them put even just a little bungee.
Yeah, be careful.
Put a little
I need
bungee.
you.
Yeah.
Exactly. You want to jeopardize this tour. Put a little bungee around you or something. Like get one of those big, you're skinny enough, get a big bungee and clip it on or
There
something.
there has been a little urine that's been coming down on the people from the lift. So,
Oh, my God. 844-686-5863 is the phone number. If you want to say hi to John and or Richie, we'll take some calls here as we get ready to wrap up. But we got some time. We got about 20 minutes, so get in here if you want. Let's talk to Mike in Albany, who's on the air with us. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, Eddie. Sorry my Cowboys got you guys yesterday, but didn't want to bring it up, but,
Hey,
Anyway,
it wasn't like you were
John,
world beaters. Russell Wilson put up 450 yards on you, dude, and he's 100 years old. So worry about your defense. Go ahead.
I know. Trust me. I witnessed. I know. John 5 rules because he knows Unmasked is better than Dynasty. Richie, you rule because the winery dogs, everything about it, absolutely amazing, mind-blowing. Please keep doing that. I can't wait to see this tour of you two in Cohoes, New York, which is near Albany. So anybody who's listening out there, get over there because it's going to be amazing. But I got to ask the great John Five, my unmasked buddy, so here's the story. I'm watching the Brady Bunch thing where every episode they're redoing the house that is now redone out in California. And in the final episode where they have the ribbon cutting and they let people in to see it for the first time, I literally sit up in bed and I'm like, that's John Five. Why is John Five? I'm like, my wife's looking at me like, what? I go, that's John Five. And she's like, what? And I'm looking at me like I got three heads. But, John, how did you get into that? That was amazing.
So I love the Brady Bunch so much, and I know
I do too.
Susan Olsen. And so she was like, oh, come down and all that stuff. So I was like, okay. So I just pretty much drive down the street a little bit and there, they were redoing the Brady house and all the Brady kids are there. So I, after they did that filming and stuff, now I shit you not, I'm telling you the God's honest truth. And this is so weird. I'm up in Greg's attic. Now, if anybody knows, the Brady Bunch, Greg had his private room when he was a little older, and it was this attic. And I'm in the attic, his bedroom, with him and Marcia and Susan, and we're playing all these songs and we're just singing together. And it was so weird and so incredible. And then just walking around the house with all the Brady kids. It was really cool. And we took a picture on the stairs and all the whole bit and all that stuff. And it was just so surreal. I mean, I was like, this is so strange because, I watched it my whole life and stuff. So I was fortunate to be a part of that.
For those that don't know, the reason why John Five started playing guitar was because of a TV show.
Yeah, because of Hee Haw.
Hee Haw.
Yeah.
Because he heard Hee Haw.
Oh, wow.
And the what is it called? Chicken picking?
Yeah, that's why I played Telecaster, because I thought that was the only shape of an electric guitar there was. And I wanted an electric guitar, and it was the Telecaster, yeah.
Richie, what was the first guitar playing you heard that made you want to play?
It wasn't necessarily guitar playing. I was playing the piano when I was little, and then I saw a poster of Kiss, and then on TV there was an advertisement or something, and then Gene was there breathing fire. So I wanted to learn how to play the guitar, but I didn't know the difference between a bass and a guitar. I just saw you saw the shape of the thing, and I want to do that. And so there was a guitar at a yard sale, and so they picked it up for me, and I started taking lessons, and then I stuck to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's always interesting what the spark is with a musician. I once asked Yngwie Malmsteen that question, and the first thing you would expect would be like Richie Blackmore or Deep Purple because of Yngwie, the Strat, the whole look, right? He said it was actually seeing the footage of Hendrix burning his guitar. The classic Woodstock when he's over it and he's burning it, it's on fire. He said as a kid he saw that and he's like, I need to do that.
Yeah.
I need to get one of those guitars and be able to do something cool like that.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting when you think about that. Let's go to Jose, who is in Miami Beach, Florida. Hi, Jose.
Eddie, what's up?
Hey, Jose, you're on the air.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead, man.
Awesome. Listen, I just want to say a couple things. I'll try and keep it short. John, you're a beast. I love that you're in the crew. Canceled, you sounded just amazing, incredible.
Thank you,
Eddie,
buddy.
I want to
thank
you for keeping. I want to thank you, Eddie, for keeping this music alive. You're the godfather of hard rock, man. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, man. I
The
appreciate that.
main person I want to talk to is Richie. Richie, I got turned on to you in 1993 when you started playing with Poison for that Native Tongue album. I was a big Poison fan. You came on. When I heard that album, it was like the missing piece. I mean, Cece's an animal, but that missing piece, you brought in the soul, you brought in the blues. When I heard Until You Suffer Some Fire and Ice, when I heard Stand, when I heard Bastard Son of a Thousand Blues, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? The voice, the guitar, everything was just genius, bro. And I love that album to this day because of you. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. I remember making that album vividly, and thank you for the compliment. And I got to credit the other guys as well because they had a lot to do with it too. and we had a lot of fun back then, and I'm happy that that it was well received. Thank you.
Like we talked about, though, at that time it was a rough time for a band like Poison. You were the new guy in the band, but that was a rough time for all those bands.
I got to tell you something. It wasn't rough out of the gate. I do want to clarify that because I remember that part vividly too. Our record shipped and it went gold right away. And what happened there, and that video was number 4 on the MTV Most Wanted. It was really kicking. And then within the course of the month where we were trying to figure out the second single, that was when everything shifted, and it was very strange. But out of the gate, that band was the only one out of all the bands from that era that put a record out that actually went, started off on the trajectory of a successful commercial success.
Well, I remember MTV played the video.
They played
for
the
Stand.
shit out of it.
Yeah, Stan got played a lot.
It was number 4.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that video for sure. 844-686-5863. John 5, Richie Kotzen here in studio with me, and they are going out on tour together. As we mentioned before, it starts in October, not that far away. And it'll be starting in El Cajon, California, and rolls from there pretty much right through Thanksgiving. So check your local listings. There is stuff in the East as well. Yeah. There's stuff in Pennsylvania. There's stuff in New York. There's 2 shows in. So you got 2 shows in New York. Well, 3 shows in New York. One is Richie only. The other 2 are the 2 of you.
Yeah.
Is that all at Iridium?
Yeah. What happened was, John, correct me if I'm wrong. I think John, at the point this was booked, had another thing that you were going to do, and then it changed. So now you're on 2, and I still have the remaining one that's floating in the wind there.
Yeah, so we're both doing that place, which I love this.
Legendary Les Paul's Club. Yeah.
I just, I had to go do another event, and then, but I wanted to play the Iridium so bad again, because I always play it. So there's a story that goes with this. I was on stage. No, I was doing Ozfest, and Nick Bocott, I don't know, you guys know Nick Bocott. He said, "Oh, Les Paul and Jim Marshall are both going to be at Les's club, the Iridium." And I go, "Oh, I got to go," And so I go, and I go everywhere with my guitar. It's with me in the car, So I go there, and I meet Les Paul, I meet Jim, and I sit down, I love you guys, and I'm sitting, and Les is like inviting people from the crowd up. Oh, let's play, Bluebird in the City. Okay. And somebody plays it just perfect. Oh, let's play, Gray Desk in a Tuesday afternoon. Okay. Somebody gets up there, plays, and he's cutting on all these musicians, and they're amazing.
What does that mean, cutting?
God, keep practicing.
What does that mean, cutting on them?
Good
Good or bad?
Bad. Like, keep practicing,
ripping
kid.
Them. Okay.
Or, you'll get there someday. And these major jazz artists.
Les was saying this.
So he goes, "We got a funny-looking fella in the crowd tonight." And I got, no eyebrows, and I got,
Were you in Manson at the time?
Yeah, I looked like a monster. And I'm like, oh, no. I know a lot of Les Paul songs, and he says John 5, and I go up there and I'm like, oh no, and he goes, "What do you want to play?" And I go, "I'll just follow you." And so they start playing, and you guys, this is the greatest night of my life. I swear, still to this day. I don't know what happened. The stars just align, and I play, and I'm just playing and playing and playing. And we stop, and I get off the stage quick. And he goes, "Come back here, son." And he goes, "I play with a lot of people, and you impress me, and I want you to come and play at my Christmas special." And,
wow.
And so I, started crying a little bit. I'm not joking. I bent down, and I kissed his feet, and the crowd was just going crazy. It was still one of the most magical nights of my life. And
incredible.
So I always love playing that place. It's just,
it amazes me how many people don't realize that Les Paul was a person. Non-musicians that they synonymous with the guitar, but not only the guitar, but multi-track recording. I mean, he invented multi-track recording.
Yeah.
And I interviewed Les Paul once. I got a quick Les Paul story myself.
Oh.
I interviewed Les Paul for TV before I was doing that metal show. I was a regular host on VH1, and he came in. And one of the only people I ever asked to sign my notes, which I still have. And at that time, he was doing the Monday or whatever at Iridium.
Sure.
And I said to him, Les, this all happened on camera. I said, Les, Iridium, your nights on there on Monday are known for all these different people coming down and jamming or guesting with you. I was like, who's one of the most interesting or different people you wouldn't expect to come jam with you? And he goes to me, he goes, Dr. Ruth. And I said, you mean the sex therapist, Dr. Ruth Westheimer? He goes, yeah, Dr. Ruth came one night. And I said, oh. I said, how was that? He goes, she sang a little bit. I said, oh, okay. I said, was she a good singer? He goes, yeah, but that wasn't what struck me about her. I said, what's that? He goes, I shook her hand. She has the tiniest little hands ever. She's a very small woman. She has tiny, tiny hands like a little doll or something.
Wow.
And I said, oh, is that right? I've never met her. He goes, yeah. He goes, and I really like girls with tiny hands. And I said, well, why is that, Les? And he goes, because it makes my pecker look bigger. On TV. I was like, holy shit.
I love him.
At that time, he was like 80 years old.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Yeah.
And I'm on camera like this is not, and I'm like, I thought he was going to say because of guitar playing. I don't know.
Yeah. That's the greatest.
Because it makes my pecker look bigger.
That's so Les too. That's so amazing. I love that story.
He was awesome. Man. Ray in Maryland. Go ahead, Ray, real quick, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Eddie. Hey, Richie. Hey, John.
Hey.
Hey, man, I got to meet you at Eddie's 40th there in Vegas, Richie. You were putting out a fire on your phone. It was right before the show, but I waited. I got a picture with you, got to chat with you, and it was just incredible. My wife and I saw you in October in Wilmington, Delaware last year, and till this day, it's her all-time favorite concert, and we've seen many. But I got to ask you, what was your approach? What was your approach and process when you decided to do 50 for 50? I mean, we listened to it in its entirety on Saturday afternoon, and we just loved the diversity and how great it was. I mean, how do you even take that on, man? And I love you both, man, and thank you so much, Eddie.
Thank you, Ray. For people that don't know, Richie did an album when he turned 50 years old where he put out 50 brand new songs that he wrote, recorded, did everything himself, like lunatic that he is. It's amazing. It's insane. It's incredible. I don't have Ray listen to the whole thing in one night.
Let's put it on. Let's go through it. We'll go through it.
Let's go through the 50 songs right now. But go ahead, Richie, answer.
I was on tour, and I guess I was thinking about, mortality and all sorts of strange things. And it was really bothering me that I had a lot of music sitting around that wasn't completed. And I thought, I really should finish this stuff. And so I started working on it from the road, like writing lyrics in a notebook and kind of documenting what songs are what and things I could remember. And then I thought, I also have, maybe 9 or 10 other songs that I had recorded that I never released. And I had ideas for brand new things. And then I had the idea, I was listening to a record from one of my friends, Sananda Maitreya has a record. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember looking at it. There were 30 songs on this album, and if you don't know who that is, Terrence Trent D'Arby, changed his name. He's probably the biggest living mentor that I have as far as an artist, a recording artist, and we actually talk, daily. There's messages that fly back and forth. It's pretty surreal, but very cool. But anyway, I was listening to one of Sananda's albums, and I said, man, there's 30 songs on this. And then I got the idea, I said, man, I'm turning 50 next year. I wonder if I could finish all this stuff, maybe write a few more along the way, and come to, 50 songs and then just put it out on my birthday just for fun. That was my attitude. And if I got there, great. If I didn't, who cares? I wouldn't do it. So there was no pressure. It was just, if it happens, great. If it doesn't. So I got off the tour sometime in July. And I was in Europe. I got off the tour, come home, and I start going through this stuff. And I pull up a song, and I start finishing them. And as I'm finishing them, I got in this crazy zone where things were just flowing. And I'd go to bed. I'd wake up at like 3 in the morning with a melody and a lyric in my head. And I'd run down to the studio, and I'd start working on it, and then I'd go back to bed, and then I'd get up, listen to it, and then I was like bouncing all over the place with these ideas and recording them, and eventually I got to like somewhere around like 42 that were finished. And I'm like, shit, it's October. I think I'm going to pull this off. And then I started, finishing it off. And the biggest, my friend David Donnelly helped me a lot for mastering. That was the toughest thing, is when I had all this music, how do I do this? How do I fit it? How do I put it together? And he was able to really pull it together for me.
I'm going to stop you there because we're going to run out of time.
Okay.
But I find it, just to our point, how I started talking with Richie, as against the grain as it gets, because in a time where everybody puts out nothing but singles because of short attention spans, he makes a record of 50 songs. So that's all you need to know about Richie marching to his own drum. And I respect the hell out of that. I really do. It's really cool.
Thank you.
These guys are going to be on tour together, as we mentioned. You got to go to the shows. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see some of these shows. Two of my favorite people, two of my favorite players and musicians. It's going to be awesome. It starts on October 16th. Go to the website, see the dates. Just RichieKotzen.com.
Correct.
You're John-5, aren't you?
Yes.
John-5.com?
Yep.
John-5.com for John's dates. And, of course, next couple weeks, if you're in Vegas or make a trip to Vegas, see John playing with Motley Crue, holding on for dear life up there on that riser. And the shows and tickets are on sale for that, of course, right now. Good to see you guys. Thank you for doing this. Thanks for coming in. I know it was last minute. I really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you,
And we will keep tabs on everybody and keep everybody posted.